Hello and welcome to the Street Aesthete channel. Today we are going to be dueling in Geoguessr. Last time we played 6 games and we won 3 of them. We made a net gain of 8 ELO points. So not a bad session, but not by any means a great session either. The short-term ambition for this episode is basically, I think, just to get ahead of the next player up in the leaderboard, a German by the name of Flax, who I think actually we had a duel with in the last episode. So if we can gain just 2 points this time around, we'll be able to climb up 1 rung. The long-term goal is to see if we can break into the promotion zone and get to the Master 1 division. But first off, we're just going to have a very quick country streak warm-up. I would say we're in Northern Europe here. Very probably Scandinavia, although the Baltics are also possible. That is a very Baltic looking forest. Yes, I think the Baltics are where we are. Ooh, perhaps not. These slatted panels on the building definitely make me think more of Scandinavia again. I think it's going to have to be Finland. It was great stuff. Probably not too far from Turku there. Somewhere I want to explore in the Street Aesthete. Okay, a tricky one here. A rural round. We are up in the hills by probably the sea. I was thinking of Italy, but we haven't got the black and white chevron there. Other things that come to mind with water to the south, definitely Croatia. Albania and Montenegro possible, but we haven't got the telltale split in the sky where they stitched the camera coverage together, so I think it's going to have to be Croatia on this occasion. Yep, good stuff. On an island, in fact. Okay, North America. And this is surely a scene right out of the US, suburbia. But is this Canada? I'm not quite sure how you would tell, to be honest. I think on the whole, it looks very affluent, doesn't it? It looks affluent in a way that Canada often doesn't outside of the big cities. And so for that reason, I'm going for the US. Good, okay, nice. North Carolina there. I'm sure I've seen this very frame before somewhere. We've got a roof rack here. I think we've had this round, or a round on this road, in one of our Gold Division duels in one of the earlier episodes. And from what I recall, and the roof rack is definitely backing this up, this is Kyrgyzstan. Yes, nice. Okay, should be an easy one now. We've got all this language to go off of, and I think this would be Croatia, but let's see if we can confirm that. If it's not Croatia, where else could it be? I suppose Slovenia is a possibility here, but also, yeah, I think it's got to be Croatia. Our second Croatia round in this streak. It was indeed. Looks like Europe once again. And we have got some Cyrillic here. It's not Russia nor Ukraine. So could it be Bulgaria? Could it be Serbia? Could it even be North Macedonia? I think that the coverage is such high fidelity that we'll have to rule out Serbia and North Macedonia, so it's got to be Bulgaria. But I'm not extremely confident about it. Okay, good, it was, and not too far from the Turkish border there. How far are we going to take this streak, I wonder, before the duels begin? I think we've got... Well, I'm not sure. I think we've got Cyrillic there, but I'm not totally certain of it. My first thought was actually Turkey. And I think I'm actually going to have to stick with that, even though we can't quite confirm what sort of script we've got over there. It was Turkey, so it must have been Latin script. Very red soil. Thinking right off the bat of Brazil, but actually also of Cambodia, Thailand. Yeah. I often get a little bit confused between South America and East Asia, which is not great, but that is looking much more South American, I would say, than Asian. So I'm going to go for Brazil, but I will kick myself if it turns out to be Cambodia. Nice, okay, Brazil. And this is where it could actually get tricky, because we've got the global homogeneous style of the indoor shopping mall. Tualetti, definitely a Slavic language, and we can tell that also from Cholovinsky. I think for that reason, with this little accent over the N, with the letter W, this has got to be Poland. But our only clue to go off of here is the language, so we'll see. It was Poland, in Warsaw, Warszawa. Now we're in the lowlands, and the question is this the Netherlands or Belgium? This may well spell the end of our run. But I do like to try and guess between them. Now, I would say, going by the shape of the architecture here, that this is Belgium. The reason being that Dutch houses, even suburban Dutch houses, tend to be a bit taller and thinner, whereas Belgian houses tend to be a little bit more squat. And we've also got, and this is often a sure way of telling the difference, we've got this gutter along the side of the road here, which is most often seen in Belgium. So, Belgium it is. And it was the Netherlands, so there you go. In Heithuizen. Alright, that is enough for our country streaks today. 9 countries, better than last time, we only got to 4. And it is time, indeed, to begin our duels, now that we're a little bit more warmed up. And we've been playing no moves, so I'm going to start us off with that. We may do some NMPZ later on. Our first opponent of the day is a German, and slightly lower rated than we are. I believe with this roof rack and tent emergency kit and whatever else, this has got to be Mongolia. Where would it be? East or west? Truly, I don't know. I'm going for west, but basically arbitrarily. And it was west, so that has worked out nicely, even though I didn't at all commit to that end of the country. I think we're probably in Asia. I don't really have any good ideas. I wondered if that might be the Thai script there, so I've got no confidence in this, to be perfectly honest, so I'm going to go in eastern Thailand. It's a little bit flatter in the east. He has more or less the same idea, and we were a bit further south, just outside of Bangkok. I think, considering that I pretty much did not know which country we were in, that was a pretty great guess. Back in Asia again, with these tiled roofs, which does often make me think of Java, but I don't want to rule out Thailand again, to be honest. We've got the Latin script, so I think it's going to have to be the Indonesian island of Java, where those red roofs are often seen, and I'm basically just going to go in the middle of the island. Opponent, similar guess, and I'm just that little bit closer. Europe, and possibly Scandinavia. I think Scandinavia very likely, actually. Denmark or Sweden certainly come to mind with this architecture. And I think Denmark is the more likely with how flat it is. And I'm going to put us just outside of Copenhagen. Opponent goes Germany. Oh wow, okay. And it was, in fact, on the mainland of Europe in Germany there. We've got a German opponent here, so perhaps there was some giveaway that was invisible to me that he managed to spot. A very beautiful landscape here, and I think this is probably Bhutan. Whereabouts? When you don't know, it's best to go in the middle. Opponent a little bit further west, and it was further west still. Right over in the west of the country, in fact. Back in Europe, we see these A-frame poles in this style in Poland and Hungary. So, of the two, which seems the more likely? I think that the foliage is a little bit more northern looking, so for that reason I'm going in Poland, and I'm going for the middle of the country, as usual. Opponent in Serbia, and it was indeed Poland, so that on 2 times damage is going to be a good chunk of HP taken from our opponent. Okay, the language over here is Japanese. But there don't seem to be any other particular clues that I can recognise. It does look a little bit sort of sunnier and warmer, so for that reason I'm kind of thinking more over this side of the country. Gonna just kind of put us between Osaka and Nagoya. And it was pretty far south and west on the island of, is this Shikoku or Kyushu? It's Kyushu, isn't it? Alright, I'd say we're in the Americas here. And where's the sun? Can't quite tell. I think we're in Colombia. I'm not totally sure of it, and it does seem rather flat for Colombia, but I'm going to try it out. Is this Panama though? Is that a possibility? No. Not with 2018 coverage. An opponent goes South Africa, and it was Sri Lanka. Wow, we both completely missed that one, but my latitude was great. Just saying. Okay. Is this North America or Scandinavia? I think, look at that car. I think this is North America, but the white road lines and the hills, yeah, I think North America is right, and it looks very Pacific Northwest to me. So I'm going to put us in British Columbia, not too far outside of Vancouver. Without a great deal of confidence, it must be said. Opponent with a similar idea, and it was actually Oregon, or Oregon, as it's sometimes known. A European round? Any language clues for us here? Not really. I'm thinking about Poland, I'm thinking about France. Even, yeah, I think Poland makes the most sense to me. Western Poland, looking sort of like it could be Germany. Opponent with a similar guess, and it was indeed Western Poland, a little bit further south there. And that is going to be enough to win the game for us. I know that I can press the keyboard shortcuts to give emotes and to put my guess in, but I have found sometimes that it interferes with the recording. Sometimes it stops the recording, so I'm not taking the risk of using the keyboard shortcuts, just in case you were curious. And I felt great about that. We have indeed overtaken Flax, which was the goal for this episode, but we are going to play a few more games to see if we can maybe overtake Cleopatra. So we're off to a good start here. Let's see if we can start up a winning streak with our second duel of the video. We've got a Frenchman here, Swanee FR. I tend not to wave at Frenchmen as an Englishman. We have a friendly rivalry. No, I'm just kidding. I like the French. I think we're in Europe here, but where exactly? I'm not sure. I was kind of thinking about Slovenia, to be honest. But even, I don't know, I could see Czechia. I'm not sure. Really not sure about this one. And it was Slovakia. So, you know, not a terrible start, given that I didn't really give myself enough time to examine the round. Okay, I think we're in Australia here. Loads of gum trees, Forsyth, very sort of British sounding name, British influenced that is. Is there any chance that this is anywhere other than Australia? I would say not. And I'm certainly thinking about the southeast, although I could also see South Australia working. We could be outside of Adelaide. I think I quite like that actually. I think outside of Adelaide is making a lot of sense. So we'll go in the suburbs of Adelaide. Opponent goes outside of Sydney, and we were in the suburbs of Brisbane. And that is a big chunk of damage there, even though the opponent wasn't really that much closer. Still, there is time yet. Okay, Blue Creek Road. We seem to be in North America. And I would say definitely one of the southwestern states. Arizona, New Mexico. Even I could see Nevada working here. Yeah, I suppose I'm going to kind of head just towards, a little bit more towards Las Vegas. And it was northern Nevada, I think, or even southern Idaho. Yeah, southern Idaho in this. Is that a reservation? Native American reservation. Uwaga. This could only be Poland. I do like to take a little bit longer, usually, to examine my rounds. I don't like to be rushed, but hey, it's a style of play. Yeah, just central Poland. I don't know what else it could be, really. Yeah, just about right. We were in the town of Płock. Yeah, probably Płock. The language here. Vote for Ertel. Yeah, we seem to be in the US again. And yeah, looking very southern. Very southern, very deserty, but I actually think that even, yeah, I had a feeling we were a little bit more kind of central, a little bit further east than we were before, so I'm kind of going like Oklahoma, Kansas, around this area is what I'm thinking. Opponent much further east, and it was in Colorado. And that is, yeah, the big chunk of damage we've done there. Pretty happy with that. As the multipliers begin, we're back in Australia. Wildlife Corridor, Tambourine. So we're probably in a place called Tambourine. I've got no idea where that could be. But again, it reminds me quite a bit of that previous round that we saw. Even a little bit kind of more tropical looking, so I'm going to kind of go like on the border between New South Wales and Queensland. Maybe a little bit further south, actually. Yep, and I should have stuck with my original idea, kind of between the Gold Coast and Brisbane there. And let's see if we can deal the finishing blow to the Frenchman here. Houston. Are we in Texas, or is that just the name of the company that runs that shop? City Hall. But the City Hall of where? Yeah, I mean, I think you've just got to go for Texas on a round like this, haven't you? Houston, are we that far south? I somehow don't think we are, to be honest. I'm going to put us more towards Dallas, even though that might be rather a stupid idea. He goes near Houston, and it was actually Mississippi. And not quite enough. Not quite enough. Yeah, well, I would have thought that if we'd actually been in Houston, it would have looked like a much bigger city. And here we are in North America again, but looking a lot more Canadian, I would say, a lot more remote. General Store, Uppsala General Store. Yeah, I don't think that we're in Uppsala, Sweden, by any means. Yeah, maybe kind of between Alberta, Saskatchewan, maybe even Manitoba. I'm not sure. Feels about right. He goes much further east, and it was in the middle in Western Ontario. He actually has the slightly better guess there. McDonald's Road. Looks like we're driving on the left here. I think this is New Zealand. In fact, I'm fairly confident that this is New Zealand, and it looks extremely flat. And yeah, I'm kind of thinking about Christchurch, even Dunedin. Yeah, I'm going to go for Christchurch. Wow, okay, New Zealand. He goes, I thought he might go Scotland. And it was indeed New Zealand. And that is a big chunk of damage. That's what we call overkill. How did I know that it wasn't the UK? It's my country. I recognise my own. I have also visited New Zealand quite a few years ago now. I visited 11 years ago. But, you know, you remember what it looks like. And when you get to see enough coverage, you start to recognise it. Wow, so we've done quite a bit better than I thought we might have done. Much better than last week so far. We started this episode on 855 points, and we are now on 890. So that is a 35-point gain. And we're on a bit of a win streak here. I wonder, shall we push our luck with NMPZ? I think maybe one more no move, and then we'll do some NMPZ. And we've got a Swedish opponent here with a slightly lower rating. We seem to be in Asia, I would say. Municipal San Quentin. So would this be the Philippines? No, surely. I'm getting turned around here. Is this South America? It just looks so Asian. I mean, look at this building. This must be Asia. We don't have the characteristic double concrete road line, though. This way to evacuation centre. I think we've got so much English and only sort of arbitrary Spanish that we've probably got to be in Asia, right? Yes, I'm going to go with my first conviction here. He may well be searching for San Quentin, but I'm going to put an end to the search and just stick us basically in the middle of the Philippines. Guessing in the middle of countries so far has served me pretty well. He goes on the same island, and we were way up in the north there. So just a little chip, a first bit of damage there, an opening salvo, if you will. I actually guessed in the sea, looks like. Okay, we are in an Arabic-speaking country here. 2024 copyright. Arabian Oud. Could this be some new coverage in Oman, I wonder? That is my first thought. Yeah. It doesn't, I mean, it looks like the Emirates, but I don't think that's where we are. Yeah, I'm going to take a punt here and go kind of just outside of Muscat. But I do think that we're probably, yeah, in this part of the country, closer to the Arab Emirates, rather than down here in the rural part. He goes for the same country, and it was, yeah, just a bit further west there. His little bit of damage returning the salvo. Alright, this looks like South Africa to me. White road line in the middle, yellow on the outside, and looking very dried out. quite remote. Sort of reminds me of Botswana, but I could also see it being down here. No, it's a lot lusher down there. They grow grapes. So yeah, I'm thinking about kind of the northeast of the country near Polokwane. Maybe I'll go a little bit closer to the border there. He goes south, and it was, wow, look at that, a great guess. Very happy with that. Okay, we have, I was going to say Spanish, but I'm not sure that it actually is Spanish. Redusa. Yeah, is this Spanish or... Okay, just stop getting caught up on the language here, and let's figure out where we actually are. I think we're in South America. The sun, I've not really been using the sun much. Yeah, we're in the northern hemisphere, so thinking about kind of northern Colombia, I suppose. I could also see it being Mexico though, but no, I think Colombia is right. Dominican Republic. Oh, that is a good guess. Good thing we're not in the multipliers yet. Yeah, you got the right city. I must have missed the roof rack that we would have seen on the car there. And what is this script? I believe we're in India. Certainly looks like Indian coverage, doesn't it? So let's just have a quick look around to see where we might see a script like that. Doesn't look southern. Starting to look a little bit more like this, but we haven't got the line across the top. So maybe, yeah, this looks better. Gujarat, Ahmedabad. Yeah. Yeah. Even Punjab, no, you start to get the line across the top of the script there, so I'm going to go in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad. Anyway. Have I made a terrible mistake here? No, he has the same idea, and it was actually another city just a little bit further southeast. So, both getting the right region there, probably from scanning the script. Looks like I was going to say the US, but actually this could well be Canada with this architecture, this sort of wooden colonial architecture, quite beautiful. Looks like a big city as well. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about, West Coast or East Coast though? That is the question. With this sort of rowan tree here, this ash, thinking more of the East Coast, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous, really, to commit to either side. But that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit east, and I'm going to go between Ottawa and Montreal. He goes in the US, and yep, it was the West Coast. Big points were on offer there, but neither of us decided to take them. He's laughing, not too sure why, and I can't really read that. Sun in the north, putting us in the southern hemisphere. And which side of the road are we driving? I've made such mistakes in previous duels of going too much by which side of the road the car appears to be on, but this landscape looks to me a lot like Uruguay, and that is where I think we are. So I'm going to go near the middle, a little bit closer to the capital. Where else could this be? Ooh, this could be Chile, actually. I often miss Chile. Should I pronounce it Chile? I've always said Chile. He guesses. He seems not to have guessed. Okay, he laughs and leaves the game. Well, even though it was Chile, we have won the game, so he gave up halfway through? Not sure why. That's a pity. Maybe... Wow, we're up in the 900s. This is great. This is, yeah, one of the highest levels of ELO I've probably ever been at. I think I've made it a little higher into the 900s previously, but we're having a lot of success here. Now I'm on a roll. I wonder if I should stick with no moving. Yeah, I'm going to do another no move game. And we have another French opponent. He is quite highly rated. He's nearly up at 1000 ELO. So I think this may well be where we come undone. But I am not going to jinx myself. I think we can win. We are driving on the right with yellow road lines. Are we in South or North America though? It's so dry looking. I actually think we're in South America here. It doesn't look like US road infrastructure, does it? Where's the sun? Sun seems to be over here, which is right in the middle, doesn't really help us. Well, yeah, I'm not at all confident about this, but I was thinking about northern Argentina, basically. But I would hate for this to really turn out to be the US. He goes for Peru, and it was actually, yeah, it was Peru. He gets the right country. Big chunk of damage to start off there. Okay, we are in Europe, and I thought first of all about France. These are very French looking. We've got a Renault there, a Citroën, another Citroën. Yeah, this could well be France actually. But I also thought of Czechia. No, I think we're in France. This is so French looking, but also maybe a little bit of a kind of a lowland influence. So yeah, I don't want to give him too much time, the Frenchman, to work out where we are. Yeah, I'm going to put us in the east, kind of hedging towards Belgium. I bet we're a lot further south. Well, we'll see. He goes also east. Oh, and we were just west of Paris. Hey, I got a better guess in France than the Frenchman. That is what I'm talking about. Miłosław is 11 kilometers away. We're in Poland. I'm going to go for the classic guess in the middle. But do we think, does this remind me of, I mean, it is quite flat, isn't it? I'm thinking just a little bit further north, you know? Just got this feeling. Yeah, okay. The original guess in the middle, not much in it, really. Yeah, a little bit further west. Never mind. South America, sun in the middle, so maybe not South America. Have we got the copyright year here? 2019. Rules out Panama. I think Mexico is definitely a possibility here, especially with these Chevys. Yeah, I think Mexico makes a lot of sense. Hold on, check for the roof rack, just in case we're on the island of Hispaniola in the Dominican Republic. I don't think we are. So, yeah, basically it's between northern Colombia and Mexico, and I think of the two, Mexico is making more sense. And I think, yeah, getting into sort of a little bit more of the desert area here, north of Mexico City. Let's try it out. Okay, he goes for a similar guess, and we were, wow, right on the border there in Ciudad Juarez. Yeah, just on the border with the US. Where are we? We seem to be driving on the left. Yeah, we are in Indonesia or Malaysia. The sun may be of some assistance here. Sun is, yeah, in the north, which puts us in the southern hemisphere, so that definitely helps us narrow things down. This feels very kind of, we've got, yeah, sea to the north. Feels like, what does it feel like? We've got the red roof though, red tiled roof, so I think we will go in Java and somewhere on the north. I think we'll just go in the middle on the coast. It doesn't look like a typical lush green Indonesian round. but I do think that we've probably deduced the right sort of idea. Opponent, very similar guess, and he just pips me to it with a slightly further west guess. Alright, yellow road line down the middle here. Tierra Lago, Land and Lake. Tierra Lago Drive, okay. Greg Shaw, Justice Court Judge. So we're in North America for certain. And US or Canada? Yeah, tricky. This makes me think more of Canada, I have to say, this building here. So I'm thinking about southern Canada, and I'm sort of thinking about Manitoba here. But I've also kind of got this feeling that we're like somewhere around here too. Greg Shaw, the Eagle, I think, is probably the US, right? Yeah, I'm going to go for Illinois. Flat. Maybe a little bit closer to the more sort of rural country over here. Oh, I don't know. It's going to turn out to be Canada, isn't it? He goes much further south, and it was, wow, okay, we were in, what's that? Which state is that? Mississippi. Yeah. Okay, well, you live and learn. We are in Asia here. The tin roof. Indonesia comes to mind. Oh, we have got tiled roofs here as well. Could we be in Java once again? I think that's the sun there, right in the middle, so not much help. Could it be Thailand, though? We've got, we haven't got the Thai script, so no, I think we're probably correct here with Indonesia, and yeah, I'm basically going to guess in the middle of Java again. Okay, opponent, similar idea, and just that little bit further west, which works in my favour on this occasion. And yeah, we're on round 7. This is quite the war of attrition. Birzgal. Looking rather Baltic, I would say. Can't quite read that. I would say, given the language there, this is not Estonia. Although it looks very Estonian. But I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that in Estonia, in terms of the place name. So, I'm going to go in Latvia. Yeah, I suppose that kind of makes sense. He also goes Latvia, and a little bit further south there. Just pleased to have got the right country, to be honest. I'd really like to be able to beat this higher rated French player. That would be very satisfying. We're in Europe here. Just want to check for the cut across the sky. Nope. Okay. So, thinking about Italy, but also Spain. No help from the graffiti there. But I could also see this even being Switzerland. No, probably not. Yeah, I think northern Spain rather is the play here. Even southern France. I kind of like southern France a bit more. And oh, it was Spain. Hopefully that was indeed enough for the Frenchman to beat us. I will offer him a GG. He beat me fair and square there. I think even if I hadn't changed up my guess to southern France at the last moment, it probably wouldn't have been enough. Alright, well, we've dropped back into the 800s there, but what I'll do, I think, is I'll play one more game, and we're going to make it an NMPZ. And our opponent is Swiss, slightly lower rated than we are, but higher rated than we started the video, so anyone's game, I would say. I just went to try and move it, which of course we can't. Okay, we're certainly in Europe here. Ideas: Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Romania. And I think the rolling landscape probably rules out Poland. And I suppose I quite like the idea of Czechia here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Romania. Yeah, hedging a little bit further east for Slovakia. Both guessing the same place, and it was, wow, it was Canada. Did I give that guy a GG or something? Did I confuse him, or is he just emoting wildly? Okay, we are in probably North America here, with the yellow line down the middle of the road, but I don't know, something about all the trash on the side of the road here and this yellow striped thing is throwing me off. I don't think we are actually in the US, but then look at this. Look at this big car here. Is that a Ford? Yeah, I think probably it is the US, and I'm thinking about kind of Southern California, I suppose. Oh, let's try it. By the way, if you've been enjoying the music that you hear in this video, then do take a look at my first channel, which is where I upload all of my original music. And we were in New Mexico there. Okay. This is the sort of thing where you've got to just look and guess. And to me, this looks like Brazil. He thinks so as well, and we were a little bit further west there. So I've managed to do my first bit of damage in this duel. May it continue. Okay, the red tiled roof here. We've got an Asian script on the ground there, which I would say is not Japanese, doesn't look like Japan. I think we're probably in Taiwan. I think that's right. I think that makes the most sense. In quite a lush part of the country. North or south? I don't know. Hedging north. He goes in Japan, and it was, it's a great guess. Yeah, very happy with that. He offers the good guess, which I gratefully accept. Okay, this is a South America, Asia toss-up for me. And I think I'm going for Northern Colombia. I don't love it. I think it's wrong. He goes Asia. Oh, and it was. I think we're going to have to offer him a good guess there also, and that is the end of the game. Wow, yeah, that was short-lived. Well, we suffered 2 defeats in a row there, but I'm not going to be too sore, because we started this game on 855 points of elo, and we end it on 875, so we have made a net gain of 20 points of elo, which is not too shabby. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video with me. Since you've made it this far, why not subscribe for more Geoguessr videos and street view explorations of noteworthy locations, and take a look at my first channel to hear all of my original music.